to the spiritual consulship brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess of Blosi. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the Friday energy. Mainly it's Venus. We also know her as Freya or Aphrodite. Some traditions will call her Oshun or Chamba. It's the deity of Friday. So I don't know the exact placement in my mind, in my head. I heard Gemini, which is weird to me, but I'm just going to go off what Spirit told me. So we'll go until we see the Lovers card and the Empress card. If you're new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. It's a delight and an honor and a privilege to serve you. You belong to Welcome Home. Again, my name is Serene Priestess of Blosi. We'll be imposing the guidance from, and I don't know how the sound is working right now, so if you hear stuff in the background when I watch the video, I'll know what changes to make. We'll be imposing the guidance from the Thoth Tarot. That's created by Aleister Crowley, illustrated by Lady Frida Harris, and published by U.S. Game Systems. If there's pairings or correlative and combinatory energy or union energy, like partnership energy, I'll clarify and name the deck at that time. I just realized that there is a flash sale going on until the 12th. It's related to the Lionsgate portal. So I'll update the information in the show notes after this video is over. It's mostly just going to be recordings sent back with up to 5 yes or no questions, typically related in concentric circles around sovereignty. Standing on our own, it's the us energy. That's really what the Lionsgate portal is about. It's about bringing our eternal or our galactic sovereignty through the portal, basically into this incarnation. Kind of like what we're standing on, whether we're coming hard, standing on business, coming through. It's not always for ourselves, but it is kind of about ourselves. A lot of people think Leos are selfish. It's not that I energy. It's actually just about standing in your center, radiating outward. It's a common misconception, a misnomer, whatever have you. Okay, so that was the descending energy. Let's go ahead and do the ascending energy. So we have something going on here I don't understand. There's a narrative here. Okay. Yeah, so there's some kind of trial that we've been going through, and a double six winning, gifts, support, grants. A Six of Wands is receiving glory. Six of Pentacles is receiving favor. We've manifested something as well. This could be a few things. Mastery or commitment, usually around practical skill, systems and structures, systems basically. And then this Six of Pentacles, it can mean equally beneficial nourishing needs exchange. It can mean favor. Now, there's another thing here, because the kings often go with the second, sixth, and 10th house. Queen's another, princes, pages another, or knights. And I am getting that energy. So the sixth house is about, Leo energy talks about the service we give ourselves and others. The love we give ourselves and others. Now, the sixth house, the house right after Leo, talks about the service we give ourselves and others. It could talk about karmic debts. It could talk about our day-to-day repetitive routines, what we need to do to service our creations, to attend to them, to keep them going, to handle up. And remember, I was talking about coming through, pulling through, coming hard, standing on business. I'm getting a little bit of that right now. And then sixth house is also very Virgo. I'm hearing very, very necessary, very, very contrary. So interesting. I'm curious to see what's coming through right now. I got my interest peaked. Okay. Yeah, and I'm hearing that song. Coming Through is all I ever want to do. I don't know the name of the song but it's by Thames. The name of the song is Replay. It might be if Orange was a place, I don't know, but the name of the song is Replay and the name of the artist is Thames, T-E-M-S, Thames. Okay, so we are going towards equally beneficial nourishing. I don't know if it's needs exchange. It could be alignment. Okay, there's some other energy I'm getting. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Go ahead and smash that like button. Thank you for your continued support. This alignment or karmic justice basically is clarified by some kind of attending energy. The Two of Pentacles could be intercession, could be attending to a matter, it could be the tables turning, it could be administration. I'm hearing the word penmanship as well. It doesn't always mean calligraphy, penmanship. It could also mean something signatory, putting our energy, putting our signature into something, which could be a personal effect like hair, a photo, even other signatures, fluid, our name. I'm really just getting, we're needing to attend to a situation, we're needing to remain present and participate, we're needing, Queens are needs, we're needing to, like I said, remain present and participate or navigate, negotiate. I don't have all the information thus far, but something has been attended to and we're waiting for energy to move through or for a cycle to shift. And it's going to happen over the next 2 months. We will be granted in favor. We're already in a favorable position. However, currently over the last 6 weeks or so, or a couple few cycles of the moon, a timeline or a cycle kind of got suspended, delayed. There might have been some distortion. Let me check the comments really quickly. Okay. I'm not getting much of anything. Okay, so I'm feeling some things. I don't have a congeal. It's not coalescing. So we're going towards alignment, but right now we need to get to the bottom of something. We might be doing soul searching. We might be using some wise teaching. We might be using soul's wisdom. We might be also finally figuring out things through a wise teacher. Now, I am getting a little bit of a need for initiation. Now, it doesn't always mean that we go to get initiated through a house, a TAR. I'm hearing the word padrino. Sometimes spirit initiates us. Often it's through trial and tribulation. Remember, we had those two sixes. The Six of Wands is definitely trial and tribulation. You don't really get the Six of Wands without being tested, personally or in public. And then when we do get our come up, our elevation, it is in public. It's typically receiving one's flowers. It's not always public acclaims, elite status, but it can be. Because what I'm getting here, what I'm sensing here is we got tried and tried and tried and tried, and we kind of evolved through something. There can also be a little bit of Virgo energy here. Virgo moon would also be a Gemini rising, and it seems to be another person. This energy keeps trying to swap or siphon or harvest or even hijack. They could have blocked or bound us in a previous. And if it's not an enemy in terms of like a corporeal being in this realm or the next, it could be the goddess is giving me, I'm hearing the word boomy, and then we had a mic drop. So yeah, boomy is here, which is one of the consorts of a deity in this realm. It is God, it's a form of God that we understand. Um, so it's a fifth realm, it's a quantum realm, spiritual, it's ethical as well, which means it's helping us reach the pinnacle of our highest vibrational outcome. Another word for that would be aligning to the right timeline according to the calling on our life, our sacred office, which talks about being appointed to an office and having some kind of divine anointing. It would also talk about medicine that we bring, journey that we're walking in this lifetime. And it also talks about, not just the calling on our life, but what we were promised in this life. Sometimes we sign up to do things for the ancestry, but it's kind of an extra leg up because not only are we doing it for the ancestors, but we're doing it for the divine, which means that our ancestors might be elevated or exalted. I'm getting that. Now, we kind of got set down. It might have been through intervention, something that we were doing or going down might have been suspended in some kind of way. Okay, pardon me, I'm fidgeting with the machine. But something that was slowed down, delayed, is about to work itself out. Within 2 months from now, we'll be completely in a new cycle because we have been going through our karmic cycle, 10 of Wands. But we're ready to move on, move forward. We've overcome something. And this could be a spiritual victory with the justice and the chariot. Yeah, so there was some kind of distressing situation. It might have even been an ordeal. We had to stand up and face some kind of fear. And it was a fear about vulnerability, authenticity. We had to take actions from the heart. And I feel like we've done it. I want to go ahead and I want to go ahead and clarify this Knight of Cups with the Chariot. Now, that often means somebody with their Mars in the fourth house or in Cancer, or it could be a Cancer rising here. But it also means that we graduated or we passed that cycle or we're prepared to move on from this cycle because of our open heart, which means we're standing in our authentic self, our true nature. We have genuineness, sincerity, authenticity, or we're Cancer rising. I'm getting the word, the language that I'm hearing is heart on our sleeve, heart in our hand. So we're taking actions from the heart. Now, I believe the heart is a guide, the mind is a witness. That's what I teach. So yeah, we were kind of suppressed by some kind of energy. It might have been an enemy, it might have been a recent or distant past, whether that you teach, preacher, colonizer, controller, some type of system programming or conditioning. Because this actions of the heart, up until recently, we might feel some kind of way because we were kind of wallowing in the heart. We might have been the heart really tells us a lot more than we've been prepared to understand or incorporate. That's what I'm understanding here. Because there are things that are unseen and we're taking care of things that are unseen. So, yeah, our heart can feel whatever, and that does inform our experience. The thing is, we have to take things not really at face value, but we do need to take people at however they say. Because if we know something that's not being said or offered freely, we have to take it to spirit, whether it's prayer, intercession, intervention, divination, whatever have you. You know, divine guidance is really what I use divination for. Okay, so we've said everything. We did go through a karmic cycle. That's been almost completed. We're going to have a material beginning soon. The thing about that is we're dealing with chaos, covenant breakers, oath breakers. It's pressure to forsake the agreement or the promise on our life. That's what we're dealing with. And that's the cycle that we went through. There were energies, entities, ideologies trying to hold us back, push us down, repress, suppress, oppress, depress. It might have been manipulation as well. Because we're driving life forward now according to some kind of drive, desires, passions, motivations. And it's just now starting. Things that have been at the gate, at the threshold, whispering in our intuition, we're beginning to move on them. So whatever cycle we were in for these, it's called Santoshima, fundamental darkness. It's a collective thing. There's always an unexplored and unhealed and unawakened part in all of us. And sometimes that energy can kind of take on a form. Usually it's whispers or subtle things, whether they're negative or positive. We were kind of moving slow on the whispers from our intuition. That's the little tiny part of God that's alive in us. And what we were seeing or answering or engaging with more was the negative whisperer. That's the shadow. We don't ever like when these two cards come out together, because that's, those ooga booga spirits that we talk about. God of chaos. Um, you know, um, chaos agents. Let's just say that and move on. It's designed to separate us from the divine, to distract us from unity, to put us into separation, which is when we go down the ladder below the heart chakra into all those ooga booga ugly or difficult experiences that one goes through in the dark. Not really alone, because you can go through good or bad things alone. It's when we step out of the unconditional love and universal oneness, because there's growth for us. Bigger, brighter, and better is around the corner. Something is hiding in plain sight, and it's still in our hand, in our core, in our environment, surrounding location. The energy of it is still touching us if it's not alone or alive in us, because there are something around us knows about the potentiality and understands the heart of our matter, the heart of the matter and revolving to us, our authentic self, our true nature, the path that we're walking, the medicine that we bring, the journey that we're on in this lifetime. That could also mean our sacred calling and divine purpose. So somebody understands that, and they may seem friendly, but there's something here where they're waiting for a come up. And I'm saying they, I don't mean to anthropomorphize. It could be a generational curse that's manifested as some type of entity. It can be something that's attached, because we had that Nine of Swords just recently. Nine of Swords and Queen of Cups, that means that our soul is distressed. The Queen of Cups is the soul. It also is the beloved. It's the life that we create out of our heart chakra, Queen of Cups. Ooh, my oh my. Also, there can be somebody here who's a Pisces moon. We could have had a negative situation with such an individual. because it's saying other, it's not in the right triangle, so it would be usually outside of our own energy. This Pisces moon, we had some type of thing dangle with. I'm gonna say it like that. Basically, we were bound to them in some way that was unhealthy, was non-mutually beneficial, nourishing, needs exchange, meaning it was a bondage. It wasn't liberation. It was a more on the karmic side. And when we have the Queen of Cups and the Devil, what that means is that we could have been repressed, suppressed in some kind of way, or there could have been too many distortions. Ones that would kind of go a little bit past the side of the spectrum where we have a prevalence of not just unhealed, unawakened, but it may even be pathological, clinical. This is a therapeutic space, not a clinical space. I won't speak to those situations. If we need to contact or insist that the other person reaches out to a practitioner, mental health practitioner. I just want to say like that does need to be said. It's too strong here to not say. Let's move on. Okay, so we're going to go quite a bit here. So when we have the Magician and the Wheel of Fortune, there's a cycle of manifestation around the corner here. I do also know that Jupiter's prevalent right now with Venus. We are clarifying some kind of stripping loss. So there was a cycle that things could have suddenly turned because of a few things here. I want to talk about this double nine. A pair of nines means a completion, not always a culmination, meaning we're not moving on to the next phase, putting a period, closing the book, closing the chapter, whatever, what have you. There's been a completion, not yet a culmination. So we're wrapping something up, or we've reached the end of something before a result manifests. There also could have been a need to spend some time alone with the pair of nines. And this is clarified by this cycle card. The Wheel of Fortune talks about destiny, talks about cycles, can talk about abundance, tables turning, which we just had recently. We got a message late. Something was made clear after the fact. It might have been obvious, but it maybe not to us. It might have took us a few moments, a few minutes to recognize. It would have had to deal with some type of disappointment, to say it differently. Five of Cups is mourning. It can be remorse. It can be grieving. It can be having to accept defeat. It can be disappointment. It can be also a bubble bursting. Yeah, so we needed to catch up with a reality that was clear to everyone but us, or clear, kind of obvious, not yet to us. I'm literally saying we needed to accept some type of defeat. Maybe not a loss, but something wasn't going to work out. I feel related to an association. We got either bad news or delayed message, and it was about the place in our life where things were growing, things were yielding. We needed to remain strong, carry on, keep on, to move on, to push forward. And something might not have been made clear. Something's over. It's done. And we need to let it. There's a creative new beginning here. Ace of Wands. Yeah. We're healing from a trauma. There's actually some need to contain a situation. And understand that affection's being offered after harm was done. And we need to have a lot more discernment and clarity. It's not about yes or no, our answer being yes or no. It's about clarity and discernment. Okay, so firstly, we could be dealing with Venus in the ninth house or in Sagittarius. There could also be some type of Gemini rising. There could also be a Gemini sun on the other side. To a lesser degree, it would be a Pisces rising. We're maybe feeling a little bit combative. Somebody who could be feeling a little bit combative. They might want to, or feeling competitive. Now, very much we could want the same thing, but be going about it in a different way. There could be feelings of pettiness as well. It seems like there's a little bit of clarity on our end, or we want to go towards some type of union, communion, partnership. There could need to be some truth around a close bond. Or now, another thing I want to say, we have the Temperance and the Lovers card. That's soulmate union and twin flame. So we're going to go ahead and use the vibe about it. Excuse me. The Pop of Love Oracle by Vibe About It Tarot over at Etsy to discern what this is. Because there is a union, communion, partnership, I feel. Yeah, past life. So this soulmate situation is bringing through some kind of need to wake up. We're feeling a little distant, whether it's physical distance or emotional distance, but we're not truly apart. We might be connected in a realm other than now, other than here. Somebody maybe was a little bit indecisive or scared. Generally, we're unhealed, unawakened. The narrative is, I'm fearful of letting go with what I have and what I know. What you're asking me is impossible and makes me feel extremely uncomfortable. And then there's outer turmoil, battles, arguments, unnecessary conflicts, physical world filled with chaos, confusion, and destruction. Feels like the world is falling apart, literally. I'm going to go ahead and clarify with the Vita Sibila Daily Oracle by Los Scarabeo. So there's some amicability here that we might not know about, because what we're dealing with is despair. So spirit, longing, hoping, wishing, praying, conjuring of some wounding from the past. We might be lamenting about what happened in the past. There was something said or something shown or something delivered, and there's a need to recognize what can be salvaged or saved, and that's the cycle. We might have self-interest or be going through a process alone, which is fine, but something's been missed. Some clear, crucial detail, and it might be due to healing and awakening. It might be due to immaturity and ineptitude as well. Okay, so the Sun and the Hierophant, that talks about having power in our hands. If we know something, if we are awakened in some way, it may be for us to hold the door, because some kind of this could be reunion with spirit as well. Something is coming back, or there's another opportunity, and the other side needs to be, or the future has a lot of potentiality for growth. They may need to be empowered to do something. Because over the last 2 weeks, we've moved into this divine ascension, whatever energy we're supposed to be in. And we're going to see that things speed up. They accelerate. They start to move in the next few days. So I was talking earlier about a situation that needs to be contained. We had a delayed achievement. Some groundwork we laid in the past, some plan, strategy, agenda. It wasn't situated enough. We didn't do all the work that we thought we needed, or the groundwork, the foundation wasn't laid properly. And we're needing to contain the situation and also process some kind of trauma or grief, wounding, really. Now, a week from now, however, this full circle or achievement will happen. But we need to keep putting energy into situation, making the cause so that the effect comes, or we need to make some changes to a strategy plan agenda, Seven of Pentacles strategy plan agenda, making changes or something depleting, destabilizing, not working out. Five of Pentacles. There's a new beginning here or a new crisis. It's one or the other. That's what the combination of the Tower and the Full card mean. Yeah, there's a little bit of either resentment, animosity. There's a resentment here. So that needs to be put to bed. With the widower and the nemesis. Because there's a union. It could be a soul agreement in the divine. It could be a few things. Because there's a need to get to higher ground or to go on a pilgrimage or to have an experience or to learn something, an awakening here. The spiritual awakening is around the corner. And that's what this crisis is about. We might need to move towards something or to seize the opportunity to do some spiritual growth plan, or we're going to have to withdraw our energy in some kind of way. Because if we're dealing with another being here, there's this energy of, there might be something is projecting energy to make us abandon something that we have deep alive in us. I don't know what that is, what that looks like. It's not completely clear here. Let me just take a look. This is, okay, well, that came right away. We need to keep our eye on the ball, period, point blank. Belvedere means foresight. So stay ready, and God's to get ready, essentially. And that red is some kind of knowledge about what other people can do. There's somebody or something here that is really good at suppressing, repressing. They don't want us to enter into that part of ourselves where we can kind of call in a bigger, brighter, and better future. That's what this amore is. It's something that is rife with growth and potentiality, and it's something sacred and divine. we have the order of the throne here, but that amore is usually the cherubim, which is a protector of sacred space. This is decisions and decrees from the divine, or moving swiftly. It could be a conversation. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing that there's a new crisis around the corner. It's a crisis of faith with the Eight of Cups here. Eight of Cups normally is similar to Eight of Pentacles on the grind, but it's the spiritual kind of energy. So we're dealing with false light. There is some kind of usurping or siphoning or harvesting or blocking or hijacking. It can also be a betrayal or open enemy. Five of Swords with the Star card. That's exposure of a counterfeit throne, of a false light, of an imposter. Okay, so over the last 3 months, there's something false, fake, phony, fictitious, or self-interest around our divine authority. I wouldn't say divine authority, but the Five of Swords and the Star card bring that out. It's Venus and Aquarius, but it's not us, it's somebody else. Our presence exposes something that's counterfeit. And we're not going to need to know it. We can just be our authentic self, our genuine self, our sincere self, and just through living our life, being ourselves, having unconditional love and compassion, it's actually going to expose something, someone. We might not have the knowing, but it will happen through our energy body. So there might have been something at work designed to block, destroy our destiny or our spiritual inheritance. It was always planned to, that was destined. So this energy, that this cycle of blocking or postponing or attempts really to destroy the calling on our life and our spiritual inheritance, our destiny, that energy was used to give us a leg up, to teach us something. And we did go through a karmic cycle. We did learn a few things. The Eight of Cups, that Temperance card, that's all talking about healing and pilgrimage and evolving spiritual talents, abilities. There's also been an energy laced in that I can now discern clearly. If we did get attacked, it would have activated some kind of ancient in our blood, ancient gift in the blood that our ancestors had that they brought through the portal for us, or activated. So we weathered some type of storm in phases. And some kind of wisdom in the blood or wisdom in the soul has been unlocked. We now have gracious, pure, exalted influence over an entire cycle. What that is, what that looks like, I don't know. Let's figure it out. In the next week, we'll see a little bit more. We have a pair of sevens here. We're going to be using the Cosmic Coven Minor Arcana from Lisa Lazenby over at Ripe Avocado to figure out what this pair of sevens is. The pair of sevens is an alert. Seven of Cups is a facade. Seven of Wands means that our protection is slipping. There's an attack against the anointing. Something is trying to repress us in some kind of way, shape, form, or another. A higher level practitioner is out there doing something, trying to figure out a way to circumvent the anointing. Six of Cups is anointing. And it's also an agreement from before. They signed up in the spirit to be one of our enemies, or one of the adversarial energies that activated us. So something has come. Yeah, and we do have an agreement. Some type of soulmate. Yeah. They're just serving their cause in the environment. They're serving their function. That's the truth. So something isn't as it seems. Whatever kind of shadow that we went through with another individual, or some kind of karmic cycle, it was for that to happen, for us to rise in our vibration to some kind of awareness. But there also is some indestructibility. We needed to realize that some illusion, some gaslighting, mirage, glamour, something that was unhealed, unawakened, misattributed, needed to be healed. And whatever cycle we went through, that was its purpose. Yeah, some truth cutting strategy comes through. We need to find a different way to look at something. That is what happens here. Because now something that was prophesized is near completion. We'll see in a week or so, we'll get this green light, or we'll get the receipts on moving forward. There might need to be some type of collective acceptance. It doesn't mean tolerance. It just means knowing like people were serving their purpose in the environment. They were serving the purpose in our life. We had an enemy or a karmic cycle. The difference for different folks. We had an enemy or a karmic cycle. When we're alone and away from the trauma and the tribulation, we'll know that that individual just came forward to help us grow and mature. And it was unpleasant. It doesn't justify why they did what they did. That's the karma in this life. But they might have also just been serving their purpose. They might have been serving their function in our life by being, a low down, dirty shame, a sideways, sneaky, seditious, or trifling, treacherous, treasonous, whatever negative connotation. They were just serving their purpose in our environment. Their purpose was for us to wake up and be magnetized to the calling in our life, to catalyze us, galvanize us onto the path. And it's saying that, yes, the other side did something wrong, whether it was a karmic cycle, whether it was a karmic relationship, but that's something that they, outside of the body, in another life, in another time, place, and space, it will be looked at differently. That's the clarity that we're needing. That's the come around that we're going to need. So closing this out, yeah. So we'll come to know at another time, but ponder on it for a little bit, Pensiero. Because it's saying that we're ready, but something needs to have a revelation. It's going to happen in about a week. But we are ready. Everything's kind of moved into place through this cycle, through this experience. It's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to do so. Just a quick prayer for all those still lost out there to illusion, delusion, confusion, lost in the seas of time, trapped somewhere in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to the resplendent grace of the divine, unconditional, loving, universal oneness. We love you. We're sorry. Please forgive us. Thank you. We ask that our steps be ordered, our path be illuminated, and that we find salvation and redemption in this lifetime. May we be happy. May we be whole. May we be at peace. May we receive everything we ever wanted, starting with what we deserve. Until we meet again, until we read again. Namaste, Dandava, and Ashe, Sayonara, Das Vidanya, Aveda Zane. Go ahead and smash that like button, darling. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.